Well, we're going to take a few minutes and talk about what are the responsibilities of a construction project manager. First thing I want to make sure there's no confusion. There's project managers who work on construction projects for contractors, whether you're a subcontractor, specialty contractor, civil contractor, or maybe you're a general contractor. Then there's construction managers who work for the owner or developer as a consultant to manage the overall project. So we're not going to talk about that here. If you got some questions on that, you can always throw them my way. But we're going to talk about the roles and responsibilities of a construction company, builder, contractor, subcontractor, project manager. So the title PM, project manager, is pretty common. Sometimes superintendent, field leader, those are a little confusing. But today we're talking about a project manager. So in my opinion, the project manager is 100% accountable and responsible to do whatever it takes to get the project done on time, on budget, all the things required, keep the customer happy, build a great project and make everybody happy and get paid and make a profit, right? So they are kind of the boss of the job, or the head coach is in charge of winning games, right? They're in charge of winning the project completion, everything it takes. So that's the point. So they're in charge of budget without profit fade. So they have to manage the budget very tight. It takes a weekly look. It takes a monthly job cost, estimate cost to complete versus the budget. So we know where we are. And on those small jobs, it's too late. You did it in a week, you're done. Okay, how'd we do? In a 6 or 8 month job, every month I need to know where we are. If you got a crew out there, I need to know every week where we are. So it just depends on what we need, but we know what we need. We need to stay on budget. So what are the tools? Then we have to make sure we contract conform with quality. So we have to stay aware of what the specs and the plans call for. We've got to make sure it's in the scope of work with our suppliers and our subcontractors, so they're building per the plans and specs. Then we've got to make sure our superintendent understands what those specs are and walks the job and insists and makes sure that the subcontractor suppliers are providing the quality required by the contract. So that means I've got to have my project manager manage the superintendent, manage the crew foreman, make sure they're doing what they need to do to achieve the goal. It's all about hitting the goal. If the foreman's goal is to hit the labor, right? No punch lists, no callbacks. Superintendents to manage the project properly out in the field. The project managers over everybody, including their assistant or project administrator. They make sure they help them achieve the goal. So we got the contract, we got to manage the customer, the communication, be proactive. And one of the things I see that project managers fight, they don't like to delegate. They like to be in charge. But I want my project manager to use their assistants and their project administrators or project engineers to help them do more. I'd rather have them out in the job than sitting in front of the computer doing paperwork. I can delegate the paperwork, I just want to make sure it's done properly. The value's out in the field. That's where you make your money. My old friend who runs a huge construction company, $500 million or more, I asked him who should get the highest pay, superintendent or the project manager? He said, I'm a firm believer the superintendent's more important than the project manager, even though the PM is over the superintendent. He says a good superintendent, you're not going to have that much trouble. A good project manager, yeah, you'll get all your paperwork done, but you might be late. You might not finish on time. So he's got them equal. But anyway, the superintendent reports to the project manager. Now you may have a general superintendent over here who manages all the field. He's more like a coach or consultant to each of the crew guys or each of the crew supervisors or foremen. So he's not in charge of completing the job on time. He's there to assist and help and coach and mentor them through the process. So we've got our project manager, superintendent, foreman, line of command. Maybe you've got an administrator or a project engineer. So that's the key. So first thing we got to do is set up the job. So between the project manager and the project administrator, they got to download the plans, the specs, all those things into your project management software. If you don't have one, you've got to get one. There's several of them that are really, really good for $2,000 to $5,000 a year. And there's some that are $20,000 a year that are like Cadillac Rolls Royces. They do everything. But that's what you want. I don't know how you can run a job without a project management software. that's fully integrated and works well with your accounting and estimating. That's the key. So we set up the budget. We make sure we clearly understand the contract terms, the deadlines, the milestones, the notices required. Then we manage the superintendent. We document, we obtain approvals, and of course, we monitor the progress. So we set up the job, we develop the schedule, we monitor the schedule, we create a standard subcontract for that job with that job's job rules and requirements to be successful. Some jobs require this or that or something different. We set up a subcontract customized for that job, and that becomes our standard subcontract for that job that we award contracts to all the subcontractors and suppliers or purchase orders, whatever you use. All right? So we procure. I'm a firm believer that project managers should write and execute and negotiate the subcontracts and with the suppliers and subcontractors. Why? I don't want my estimator doing it. I don't want my purchasing agent to do it. Why? I want my project manager to learn the job. If they don't have to negotiate and write the scope of work for the subcontractors, they don't learn what they need to know to manage the subcontract. They just handed a subcontract with a scope of work and they never really thought about it. And so now they're halfway through the job, there's a field issue, and they don't even know who's supposed to put in the backing for the drywall, for the toilet partitions, whatever it might be, because they didn't write the contract. So think about that. So we have procurement, we have buyout, we have negotiating, we need to make sure we got the right insurance, and then we have a weekly project management task list. We have RFIs, requests for information, potential proposed change orders. We have finalized approved change orders, submittal tracking. We've got to manage the submittals. Got to make sure all the subcontracts come back executed with the insurance, etc. So we've got a weekly job to go through our list to make sure we've got everything we need. So then we have our job site visits. I'm guilty. I go out to a job, I have a big job meeting, I look around, okay, I just did my job walk. I never get out of the trailer, out of my car, walk around with the superintendent and go, what's up with that? Why is that? Why is there a big crack right there? Why don't you get that fixed? So if I don't get out of the chair or out of the job trailer or out of the car or truck, I'm stuck in the truck making no bucks because I'm not getting out of the chair and going out there and walk around, right? So that's the key. I've got to be out there with the superintendent, with the crew, walking the job once a week. Once a week is all I ask for all the jobs that your direct reports are responsible for. Now, I know that's a big task. If you're the owner and you're also the estimator, the project manager, you don't have time. Well, if you don't have time, you're going to have field problems. Just get over it and you're going to go over budget. Just get used to it. Quit complaining. It's life. We've got to improve the invoices, the time cards, the T&M tickets, the change orders. We've got to manage those, and we got to document. So at the end of the month, every month, we have to do a final job cost, estimate cost to complete, budget versus estimated final. We have to do our invoice to our customer. We have to have all the subcontractor supplier bills approved. We have to update the monthly schedule. And I need to meet with my boss as a PM. I need to meet with my VP of construction or my president of the company, whoever my direct report is. And I need to go through all the activities, deadlines and activities and milestones that I'm accountable to achieve. I want to show him, and he needs to make sure I am doing what I need to do to make this project successful. All right, so then we have to have our meetings and go to all the meetings and make sure those are happening. All right, so there's lots of things a PM has to do, and I've seen so many project managers get overwhelmed, and you start getting behind, and you never catch up, and all of a sudden the job's late, and at the end of the job you got a very long list of rework, callback, punch list, and you got a bunch of subcontractors begging for change order money that they never got approved, and it just becomes a mess. So be proactive. Understand your job description and make it happen, and you will make a lot of money and do a great job as a project manager, all right? Okay, so I have the complete contractor flow line chart, project manager job description, and I'd love to offer that to you as a gift for watching us today. We have a separate website, contractorjobdescriptions.com, and you'll be able to download those and get your complete detailed workbook on that. And you'll also get a chance to download first chapter of my book, Turn Your Construction Business into a Profit-Making Machine. And you'll be invited to join our monthly newsletter if you're interested. So thank you again. Thanks for being here, and hope you do a great job out in the field and in the office making money for your construction company. Thanks.